What is going on, guys? wmrv videos back in another video, and in this video I'm going to be telling you about the best free photo editor that I and many other people actually use. Anyways, let's get right into it. Darktable is a free open source photo editor designed in 2009, which has been continuously getting updates and will continue to get updates. Alright, in this portion of the video I'm going to show you how I actually edit my photos, and I'm going to take you through a whole process on Darktable. And it's not the most professional process ever, but it's my way of doing it. And there's a bunch of tutorials on how to use this software in the most efficient way possible, and get all the most perfect color grading and everything. But I kind of just do it a little basic grade and then call it a day. In order to actually add photos, you're going to go to add to library, and then you make a route to the place where you want to actually take them. No, not the 29th. Maybe it was the 30th. Yes, it was the 30th. Alright, these are the pictures I want to edit. Right here, we went to the BMW Museum down in South Carolina, and I got a fair bit of pictures. And yeah, we're going to edit them today. Over here, you'll see we have an effects menu. If you go here, you'll see your active effects. If you go here, you'll see some related to exposure and white balance. Then if you go here, this is your contrast, all that stuff, I believe. And then this is mainly your colors. And then this will be your sharpening and all that stuff. But you can at any time search, and these are your creative effects. But at any time you can take and you can search in this thing. So say I want to find color correction, I can search it here and then use it. And a lot of the tools are intuitive. You kind of have to figure out how to use them over time. But I have a set few that I like using. And let's see, that's not actually the photo I want to edit for y'all. I want to edit this photo right here. So we're going to take this one. First I want to crop it a little bit, because I don't quite like where that steering wheel's at. Yeah, it's not quite where I want it. I like to make all my photos 5:7 for some reason. I don't know why, but I just do. Just moving that around. So if we click a new one, it'll actually, that's not gonna let us. Okay, now it cropped because we clicked into a new thing, and I kind of like this crop right here. It's an interesting composition. So in your exposure, you can adjust just the overall exposure of the image. So if I really want to have those shadows detailed, I can do that. However, let's see, that's where it started. I kind of want it to be a little higher than that, but not by too much. And then you make your shadows darker in here as well, or you can brighten them up just a smidge, but I find it makes a little haze effect on the image, which I like sometimes, and I kind of like it here actually. So we're going to use it a little bit. And then let's see, these are all our active things. Now let's go to color correction right here. We can take and drag all our highlights to a specific direction if we want it really dramatic. You can friggin' make this blue, make this red, and make it stupid amounts of weird looking. However, that's stylized right there to a certain extent. And then just like Davinci Resolve, you can actually take and double click anything to make it all go back to normal. Now we can go color, balance, RGB. And in this, you can adjust your brilliance and stuff like that. A little bit more here. I want the highlights blown out. I kind of like the highlight blown out look over here and all that stuff. And let's see. I want this blue to be a little less faded. So what we're going to take and do is we're going to go color, And then we can do color zones. And then let's see. And that highlights that where that blue is. And just overall more like neutral almost. Very rarely do I ever actually like make it like look vintage or like film look or anything like that. However, what I do on every picture is I always take and I go over here to these and I go grain, and I don't have the ISO quite that high, and I'll set it to like 400 ISO because I think that style of film like looks good. And then I'll set the strength to maybe like 13 or 12%. And then what that does is it adds a slight bit of grain and texture to your image, and it just looks really good. Like, let's see, let's zoom in here. It adds a little bit of texture to the car in this one, and also just overall to the whole image. And it, I don't know, it's subtle, but I like it. Now, if I wanted to, I could turn on framing and put this on a white backdrop like that, and I really like that. However, I'm not going to because I don't really do that. It's not really my thing unless I might do it. I don't know. Now, if I wanted to just export this photo right here, I'd go to Light Table, and you have our whole rating system and everything, but this is the photo I just edited, so I'm going to take and click on it, and then over here, I'm exporting for Instagram, so I have it set to 8-bit, PNG, like sRGB, all this stuff set like it is. And for Instagram, you want to export in 4K, anything higher and it'll compress it like a stupid amount, anything lower and the compression will kill it as well. For some reason 4K just kind of works. It doesn't kill it too much, but it doesn't, like if you do 1080 it'll still compress it and it'll be terrible though. So because we are working with a portrait image, I'm just going to set the width and it'll automatically do the height for a 5:7 aspect ratio. And so if you hover over something, it'll tell you what it does. This is the width limit, so I already have it in the right thing. You're going to want to make sure you also set your spot where you want the image to end up. And yeah, anyways, export it. And then now I can take and go where those are exported. Bam, exported. Now I didn't really do anything too crazy because I don't shoot in raw photos. I'll tell you why in the next clip. Alright, now the main negatives of Darktable are the fact of the steep learning curve for one, and then for two, there's several raw file formats that just aren't supported, so if you're someone who shoots in RAW, it's not going to be the editing software for you. However, I personally shoot JPEG, so I don't see this as an issue for me, so I'm going to continue to use it anyways. The formats that are explicitly listed as not supported are Apple ProRAW, DNGs, Cinema DNG, Lossless, Blackmagic, and some DJI, and Lossy Blackmagic. DNG 1.7 using JPEG XL, Adobe Enhanced, Samsung Expert RAW, Fujifilm Lossy RAFs, Nikon High Efficiency NEFs, Phase 1 other than LLQ. I don't know what half of these are, to be honest. So if you're having problems like with your editing, with the editing software as far as not being able to use the like raw files on your camera, you won't be able to use this editing software for it unless you somehow like contact Darktable and get them to support it, which they might do. I don't know. I've never tried, so I wouldn't know what to tell you. But what I do know is for people who edit in JPEG and for people who use like old like cameras and stuff that have like the raw files that aren't like super high-techy, like my Nikon D3200, I could use raw files with this software. But if you don't have that sort of situation, then this might not be the software for you. But yeah. Alright, so that just about does it for this video. If you liked the look of Darktable and want to try it out, I'll have a link in the description down below to check it out. And there's plenty of tutorials online. I might make some in the future, I don't know. But leave a like if this video helped you out. Subscribe if you see yourself coming back. And I'll see you in the next one. And goodbye!